So, New York has introduced a bill which aims to establish a private cause of action mirroring the Texas abortion law and allowing any private citizen to sue any person or company who manufactures or sells various firearms. So, let's talk about this. But real quick before we jump into this video, I want to thank everybody who has subscribed to the channel recently and who is trying to help me reach that 300,000 subscriber goal that I have before my 3-year anniversary here on YouTube in early July. You all are absolutely amazing. We jumped a ton of subscribers, so thank you so much for all of your support. And if you aren't currently subscribed, please consider subscribing to help me reach that goal. Also, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, which is JX Tactical. JX Tactical makes awesome holsters, and I've been using their holster for about 2 months, maybe a little bit longer than that. I carry appendix, and as a bigger guy, I'm very picky about the type of holsters that I use. I've tried a ton of holsters and I actually found that the JX Tactical holster is extremely comfortable, and it's going to be one of my new holsters that I use for my Glock 26, which I ADC. So if you're interested in checking them out, you can use the link down below, and thank you again JX Tactical for sponsoring this video. So like I said in the intro, New York just introduced a new bill, S9227, which mirrors the Texas abortion law, SB 8. This new bill in New York will allow private individuals to sue gun manufacturers, gun stores, or individual people for a variety of violations. Another aspect of this bill is that it insulates the state of New York from being sued for this type of infringement. This bill was introduced just days after the Buffalo incident, and like always, the gun controllers are using another tragedy to push their gun control agenda. So this is a complicated issue and bill, so I will try to condense this the best I can, but just understand this was something that the state of New York and the state of California both called for and promised after the Supreme Court released a decision on the Texas abortion law, SB 8. SB 8 is a law passed in Texas that prohibits an abortion if a fetal heartbeat is present, which is at about 6 weeks. That law is different from other laws because it is not enforced by the state of Texas or any of its executives, but rather it allows an individual to sue other individuals who perform or knowingly aid and abet in an abortion. So this allows for lawsuits against medical providers, family members, friends, and really anyone. In these SB 8 lawsuits, an individual can seek an injunction against the performance of an abortion and also seek a minimum of $10,000 in damages against any violators. Essentially, the law's goal is to have a chilling effect on the performance of abortions because you could have thousands of people file lawsuits against one individual or for one medical doctor or one institution for just one specific incident. SB 8 went into effect on September 1st of last year, but prior to that, those opposing the law filed a pre-enforcement challenge in federal court. Now here's where things become relevant for the Second Amendment context and what the state of New York is now doing. Pre-enforcement challenges seek to stop the enforcement of a law before it takes effect and before people suffer a harm. However, SB 8 was designed in a way that shields Texas as a state and its executive officers and officials from pre-enforcement lawsuits, since the statute allows only private individuals to bring a lawsuit, not the state or any of its officials. The enforcement mechanism of the law was designed in order to make it harder, if not impossible, to have this specific law enjoined. Typically, when a law is enforced by the state, a plaintiff will seek an injunction against the state and its attorney general to stop them from using that specific law. But with the SB 8 scheme, you can't get this umbrella injunction against the state and the attorney general since they aren't the ones enforcing it. The Texas abortion law eventually found its way in front of the Supreme Court for review. On review, the Supreme Court was only considering whether those challenging the law could seek pre-enforcement injunctions against the state, attorney general, and other state officials, and also Texas judges and clerks who assist in hearing all of these cases. The Supreme Court found that under prior precedent established in a case called Ex parte Young, that the attorney general, the judges, and clerks have sovereign immunity / protections on this issue since under SB 8, these individuals play no role in enforcing the law. So that's a quick overview of the backdrop surrounding SB 8 and that Texas abortion law. Well, New York is going to mirror that scheme in this bill, but instead of targeting abortions, they are seeking to create a private right of action for any person to sue any other person who within this state or the state of New York manufactures or causes to be manufactured, distributes, transports or imports into the state, or causes to be distributed or transported or imported into the state, keeps for sale, offers for sale, or exposes for sale, or gives or lends any machine gun, assault weapon, disguised gun, or so-called ghost guns. So under this bill, anyone can sue anyone else, including even gun stores, gun manufacturers, or other individuals who aid or abet in the circulation of these items. So the bill states that any person other than an officer or employee of the state or local governmental entity in the state shall have a private cause of action against any person who does any of the following. A. Knowingly violates Section 898, subsection K of this article. That section is the manufacture, transport, import, and keep for sale language that I just mentioned above. B. Knowingly engages in conduct that aids or abets a violation of the section, regardless of whether that person knew or should have known that their aiding and abetting would actually help that individual violate the law. Subsection C. Knowingly commits an act with the intent to engage in the conduct described in any of those two prior subparagraphs. Now, once a private individual brings this type of lawsuit, they can get injunctive relief to prevent that defendant's actions. So, for example, a private individual could sue a gun maker and get an injunction preventing them from selling or importing firearms. The private individual can also win statutory damages in the amount of $10,000 per firearm or violation under this bill. And finally, they can also recover all of their attorney's fees. So there are lofty consequences and monetary damages that are attached to this bill. The state of New York does try to soften the blow by saying that if someone is sued and pays for a violation, they can show proof that they've already paid for that specific violation and can't be sued again. And the state puts a 4-year statute of limitation for someone to sue for a violation under this bill. Now, like with the Texas bill, the state of New York tries to insulate themselves from pre-enforcement challenges by stating, notwithstanding any provisions of law to the contrary, the requirements of this article shall be enforced exclusively through the private civil actions described in this bill. No enforcement of this article may be taken or threatened by the state, a political subdivision, a district, county, or city attorney, or an executive or administrative officer or employee of the state or a political subdivision against any person. So there they are insulating themselves from being associated with these lawsuits. They're saying this has nothing to do with us. This is going to be purely a private action from one citizen against someone else. These types of bills seek to create a backdoor civil lawsuit mechanism where people could sue gun manufacturers or gun stores or other people pretty much regardless of other things like federal protections under the PLCAA. The Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, or the PLCAA, is a U.S. law that protects firearms manufacturers and dealers from being held liable when crimes have been committed with their products. One important thing to keep in mind, though, is that these companies and dealers can still be held liable for damages resulting from defective products, breach of contract, or other criminal misconduct. However, one new strategy of the left-leaning anti-gun individuals has been a move towards bringing state-level civil lawsuits against gun manufacturers based on things like negligence in marketing or through private causes of action that the state has no hand in, like these SB 8-like lawsuits. So there is a lot of moving parts to this bill, but for the purposes of this video, I just want you to know that New York is creating a private action for any person to sue anyone else who aids and abets or engages in the sale, distribution, importation, or transportation of various things like so-called ghost guns. If you're in New York, please contact your representatives and let them know that you 100% oppose this bill. Let them know that it's insane that the state of New York is playing fast and loose with your rights and using them as blackmail to try to get back at the Supreme Court and try to get the Supreme Court to do what they want to do on a different issue, i.e. abortion. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and comment down below and I'll try to answer the best of my ability. Also, if you like this video and like support the channel, one of the best ways to do that is to like, comment, and subscribe. All those things help to fuel the algorithm or fuel Algorithm rhythm. It adds fuel to his jet and it signals to YouTube that you guys see value in these videos and in this type of 2A news. Again, I want to thank everybody who likes, comments, subscribes, who hits the notification bell, who shares these videos. You guys are directly impacting these videos, impacting this channel, and helping me to reach and educate more people than I could ever do on my own. So thank you so much for all of your support. And as always, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And never forget, this nation was built by armed scholars, and this nation will be maintained by armed scholars.